Hey guys, Steve here from Bloom Audio. Today we're going to talk about the ZEN Signature Set HIFIMAN edition. The Signature Set includes the ZEN DAC, Signature V2, and a ZEN CAN Signature HIFIMAN. The Signature series as a whole are upgraded versions of iFi's budget ZEN lineup, and they really push the limit on bang for your buck with incredible sound and power at low prices. Since this set is specifically designed for HIFIMAN headphones, we grabbed some HIFIMAN headphones, took a listen. So we're going to dig in, see how it works, and see if this is the new ultimate way to listen to HIFIMAN cans. So I really love the color on these units. It's this nice blue with the black on the front. It's got a little bit more style than the standard ZEN units. You've got this big knob on the front that is, just part of the ZEN DNA essentially. Nice action on that. These are pretty sturdy. Don't want to drop that on your toe. Now with the ZEN Signature DAC, unlike the standard ZEN DAC, this is 100% pure DAC. There's no output. There's no headphone amp built in. So the only way to output is on the back panel. So on the back, you've got your power, you've got your USB input, then you've got RCA output, and a balanced 4.4 millimeter output. And then this switch, variable or fixed, controls the operation of the volume knob. So in variable mode, this volume knob controls the level of the output to your headphone amp. In fixed mode, it does absolutely nothing, and you're just outputting at a fixed line level. Now the ZEN CAN, you've got a little bit more going on the front. In addition to the power button, you've got an input selection where you have 3 inputs on the back. You've got the power match, which is basically gain, 4 settings on that, 0, 6, 12, 18 dB. Nice big volume knob again. For outputs, you have a 6.3 millimeter headphone jack, a 4.4 balanced, and then you have the selection as to whether you want to turn on the HFM or the X bass. So the way this button works is HFM only, X bass only, HFM and X bass, and then off. So each press adjusts the settings there. On the back, we've got 3 inputs. So input 1 is RCA. Input 2 is a single-ended 3.5 millimeter connection. And input 3 is the balanced 4.4 millimeter. So you're going to want to select 3 if you're using this with the whole package here. And then you can also output via 4.4 millimeter balanced on the back. And it uses the same DC 5 volt as the ZEN DAC. So it also comes with this nice 4.4 millimeter, very high quality, sturdy cable here for connecting them. There's a definite improvement connecting these two with that 4.4 millimeter cable over the packed in RCAs. So let's talk about the pack-ins real quick. So both of these come with a very nice iFi iPower 5 volt that powers that. The ZEN DAC comes with this pretty standard gray RCA cables here and this USB. It's that sort of fancy USB-B that a handful of devices use. Now, one thing to note is the ZEN DAC can be powered by USB or by the 5 volt. It's preferred to use the 5 volt DC power, but you can use either. So again, the ZEN CAN comes with that same DC 5 volt, same gray standard RCA cables, and this adapter, 3.5 millimeter female to 6.3 millimeter male for plugging in, your portable spec headphones into there. In terms of sound quality, the ZEN DAC Signature V2 is just a great DAC for the price. It provides a crisp, clear presentation with very little coloration. There's still just a touch of that iFi signature warmth, but it feels more neutral, giving you a higher level of detail than the standard ZEN DAC or the ZEN DAC V2. And it's a step in the direction of a more reference sound versus the standard ZEN DAC, but it still has some musical characteristics. We haven't gone all the way into the studio yet. The ZEN Signature HIFIMAN has also cleaned up the sound a little bit from the standard ZEN Can, where the standard one had a little bit more bass emphasis, a little bit more of an aggressive sound. This one again moves towards a more neutral reference type sound. But also you're getting more detailed. There's not as much of a veiled feeling where the original ZEN Can, along with the bass emphasis was also just a little bit of a veiled feeling to the highs. The ZEN Can Signature version doesn't have that same feeling. Also has a bigger sound stage. So you get really a clear improvement from a technical end with the ZEN Can Signature. The 4 gain levels give you good control over the gain versus volume and help you dial in really good tone with just about any headphone. I found with just about everything, I was able to keep the dial in between 11 and 1 o'clock, which is where iFi says is the optimum range to keep it, and just use the gain to adjust based on the sensitivity and impedance of the headphone. So that's a big deal. Again, even at this price range, having 4 stages to gain, typically even on more expensive units, you're only getting 3. A lot of them only 2. So that's a great feature there. And then, of course, you have X Space, which gives you a little bit more soundstage by doing this sort of the crossover thing. And finally, you have what makes this the HIFIMAN edition, which is the HFM mode, which we'll get into a little more detail, but basically doing a little magic with your bass and a little magic with your upper mids and your treble. If you've ever looked at the FR graph on a Sundara or an HE400, you might have noticed it's a little roll off into the sub bass, and part of what the HFM mode does is compensate for this roll off, and also maybe add a touch more into the mid bass. It also makes some more subtle adjustments in the upper mids and treble that give you a feeling of a tighter attack, and also reduce some of the brightness in a way that doesn't sacrifice any of the air or the definition in the top. So we listened to a variety of headphones with this stack. We focused on HIFIMAN, and particularly to try to get across the range, the HE400 SE, the Aria, and Susvara. So starting with the HE400 SE, might seem like a little bit much to buy $599 worth of DAC and amp to use with $149 headphones. But the combination of the HFM filter and the X Space really turned this HE400 SE from punches above its price range to really being a genuine strong performer. The harshness in the treble is balanced out as the sub bass is extended, and the soundstage ends up being expanded nicely. So anything you might think of as a shortcoming in this headphone at $149 gets really balanced out and improved when you plug it into this combo here. Now, with the Aria, the sub bass extension is already really good. The HFM filter gives you a little bit of emphasis in the bass. I kind of liked that personally, but it might not be for everyone if you prefer the more subtle bass of the stock Aria sound. And while I don't generally consider the Aria to have a fatiguing sound signature, with certain genres, some types of heavy metal with harsh vocals or dissonant guitar sounds, or on the other end, female opera singers, and some other things. They can sort of trigger some of that harshness in the highs that can become fatiguing. And that cleanup that the HFM filter does in the upper mids and highs really takes away some of that potential fatigue trigger that you could get with the Aria. While it might seem a little crazy to hook up $6,000 headphones like the Susvara to a $600 DAC and amp combo, I have to say, if you have a $6,600 budget, you could do a lot worse for the money than combining the Susvara and the ZEN Signature Set. So I had the ZEN can at the 18 dB max gain setting, but that allowed me to comfortably have the volume at 12 o'clock for the Susvara. And the Susvara felt great. There was a good amount of energy, good slam. Both the HFM and X-Bass settings seem mostly redundant here. Didn't feel like it had really any impact. And again, you're not delivering quite the level of detail that Susvara is capable of delivering to you. So it's not going to be your strongest pick, but still does pretty well. And of course, there's a lot of other brands that use tunings that are in the same ballpark. And so this HFM filter doesn't do half bad for those either. We tested headphones like Ibasso SR2, Clear MG. It sounds good with like the Audeze LCD2. And so it really works all around with a lot of different headphones. If you have HIFIMAN headphones, particularly the Sundara, the HE400 series, or the Ananda, this was literally engineered for your headphones. And the performance that I was able to hear with all these headphones really demonstrates that. Even if you don't have HIFIMAN headphones, the specs and other features make these really strong performers, either as individual pieces or as a set. They're really great products. You should definitely take a look at for something under $600. And if you have HIFIMAN headphones, they should absolutely be on your short list of products to check out. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can check out the iFi ZEN series as well as a number of other DACs and amps on bloomaudio.com. And we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.